Hi guys and gals, and welcome back to another Boku Game video. Today's video is dedicated to mistakes that I want everyone to avoid because I made them. Alright, let's jump right into it. First things first, let's talk about partners. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you. Alright, the characters that I think that are super cool, and this is for my specific team, is Mary. And I'm pointing this out because there are some rare units that are really good that aren't the greatest on the tier list, but I think work well on certain team comps. And Mary, why? Because she increases everyone's attack / damage rate within your hand by 15%, and she also has a dot where pretty much for 3 rounds she does burn damage, which is essentially 40% of her damage. I've had moments where she's dead and her burn damage pretty much defeats the boss that's on the field, and it's absolutely amazing. I need more dot characters. If I can create a dot team, that'd be super amazing, right? Just stack dots and tank characters and you're gonna be good. But I really wanted to point out that there are some rare units and some even SR units that are really good. And I like Chio specifically because she increases sword team comps, right? And she's only 10 energy cost. Mary was what, 8? It's really amazing. And units that have these low costs compared to SSRs like Yuffie and Miyuki, they have 14 and 15. They don't really let you just summon them. I would say these are early game, really accessible heroes when you're putting stuff down on the board. And then Miyuki and Yuffie, Phoebe, they're there to clear the board, pretty much finish off the fight and get things over with, right? So looking at this, I was like, man, there's something wrong with my team, and my problem was I'm not using R and SR units. I'm pretty sure I can use more SSR units later on, but in the beginning, make sure to use your SRs and Rs because they are very valuable, especially in story mode. There's some story modes where you have to use specific characters, or there's specific ways to manipulate the AI, right? And that leads us to the next thing when it comes to dreams. One of the things that I like to do when I'm actually stuck on a stage is I'll go into the stage and actually run it on auto, right? It's really funny, but that's what I like to do, the auto button, and I just like to watch the AI and see what it does. I'll get an idea of hey, this is the things that I want to drop here, and here, and then for the most part, sometimes it even completely beats the stage. For example, I had 7.31 and I couldn't beat this stage for the life of me. And then the AI just completely crushed it, and I was sad because the AI has a bigger brain than me. But it's super cool just to see, sometimes you just don't need to try that hard. Just let the AI do its thing and you'll be successful, right? Anyways, I really wanted to share that because I thought auto was dumb, and auto sometimes can really show you the way, alright? It can really show you the way. And of course, the next thing that I want to talk about is, do collapse, right? Because this will help you essentially increase your level cap. It's really important. But most of all, make sure to collect the star rewards right here. It increases the EXP that you get, the diamonds and everything. And then of course in normal mode they also have the free gear that is handed out to you. Now it's not the greatest gear because you can get better gear in other places, but for the most part it helps out with the early game and sort of figuring out what to do. But overall, just make sure to get all these free goodies right here. It's all right there, and it's very easy to miss. Next thing that I want us to talk about is the trials area. And the reason why I want us to talk about the trials area is because exploration in particular, I had a really hard time. You can see I have a total EP of 40 now, and you're like, how'd you do that? All I did was click the exploration quest, and it tells you exactly what to do. I wasn't looking at this in the very beginning. I was a dummy, oh, what am I exploring? No, you have quests. You have quests. You can even access these quests during the stage. And essentially, all it is these ones, you just keep repeating the stage over and over again. And if you do all of them, you get the points, right? And then for these ones, there's common and random coordinates only one. It tells you this one, you just have to keep doing it over and over to get the tip for Mad Hatter. There's a bunch of guides out there, and I don't want to make a guide for the exploration quest. I just wanted to show that there are quests right here, and I didn't see them. So make sure to look at them, alright? Make sure to look at them, look them up on YouTube, and get your exploration on, get that high ranking. Just note that this is a stamina drain, so don't focus on this too much, because there's other ways to get SSR gear. I actually just made a guide on Arcanas. This is one of the best places to get SSR gear, SSR shards, all that, so feel free to check this one out. Fantastic place to be. Really difficult. Just note that you only get 1 run per day, alright? I don't want to do that right now. Just do 1 run per day, and you know, you'll get free stuff. Don't try to do it if you're not like mentally ready for it. You know, stack it up to 3, and then once you're at 3, you know, just start like trying them out. You do lose a run, but you do not have to beat the entire thing to get SSR gear, right? I got SSR gear at stage 5, so it's just all about RNG when it comes to getting things and getting like the correct units and what builds, right? It's up to you how you do the builds. And the next thing that I wanted to talk about was actually the album and intimacy. And it's not just because of the fact, like, you know, you give them gifts and, you know, you get to date your waifu and everything, right? The biggest thing is that you actually can raise like the character stats, right? When you actually give them gifts and everything. Let me collect this really quick. I like those diamonds. Alright, gifts. You can actually increase their stats. And why that's so important is because there's eventually an awakening system, and they actually are going to require high intimacy in order to be awakened. So like, it's up to you whether you want to like spoil one particular waifu. I just want us to note that that's going to be a thing in the future. So invest into your pretty much most used units, because your most used units, you know, they get the most stats, but most of all, they will have the ability to be awakened in the future. So, you know, don't skip out on the gifts. Just give them stuff, and, you know, they'll love you back and everything. You'll date them, all that. Next thing, let's go over the perks. Now, everyone knows, you know, we'll get free Miyuki. And the thing that I want to talk about is if you're going to buy anything in the game outside of, you know, the $1 Phoebe and like the $15 permanent card and, you know, the monthly, this Dreamweaver pack, make sure you get this before you just start buying other packs. And the reason why I say this is because this thing is slated at $20, right? This thing is worth hundreds of dollars. If you calculate all of this together, it's roughly 37,500 diamonds if you complete everything, right? And I know it might take a while, but just completing like the first 2 is automatically worth like $40. Like, this is like 2 multis right here, right? You got 2 multis, and the standard $20 one is like, you know, barely 1 multi. So you get 2 multis just for getting 400 stages. If you're going to invest more money into the game, think about getting the Dreamweaver pack, because this thing goes really, really far. Alright, now the summons right here, note that this is the limited banner, right? Maki, she appears 4 days into the server age. So all of these banners are based off of server age. That's the way, you know, Illusion Connect has it set up. But the thing is you're guaranteed an SSR after 2 multis, alright? 2 10x10s, right? So that's really cool. And of course you get, after 7 multis, you're guaranteed an up partner, which I think is pretty much Maki right there. So just note that it's really expensive, these tickets. You can get these tickets via, you know, your quest, and then, you know, attain them by your weekly mission if you 100% it. But the other way to get it is if you go into your shop right here, you'll actually get them in the limited time shop, and there'll be like a daily one that you can get. And just note that, you know, the banner will disappear, and it costs 400 diamonds for 1 ticket. Now, it is like a hefty price to pay 4,000 gems for a multi, but in the end, you know, it all adds up, and it's really good stuff. Pick and choose which one you think is like worthy enough for you. Just note this, like 40 tickets, this is actually like technically 16,000 worth of gems, right? Because 4 times 400 or 40 times 400 is 1600 or 16,000, right? So for the most part, if you want to like go down that rabbit hole, you can. And just note that the limited summons, the one that I highly recommend is Kasumi. She'll be popping up later in the future on, I believe, day 18. And she's hands down the best limited banner unit that you can get. So if you want to save your gems up for one particular banner, save it for Kasumi, because she pretty much makes the game turn into easy mode. Let's jump into the next thing. We've talked about partners. Let's talk about Miss Scipula. Now, the reason why Miss Scipula is so important is because there's a lot of features in here. Make sure to claim all your rewards, but most of all, don't level up everything like crazy. Like, keep things at level 4, keep the books at level 3. And the reason why is because, like, eventually, like, you know, it costs 20,000 crystals to, like, upgrade these little dudes. You know, this one costs 6,000, so feel free to go crazy on that. But this one costs 55,000. You know, that one's worth it because it's more characters. 20,000 for each upgrade. You know, 16,000, that's fine, because it levels up everything. But for the most part, be very frugal with your crystals. And if you need crystals, you know, go into trials, do the daily trials, and do the witch operation. And this flows into our next mistake to avoid. If you are here, do not try to kill Yuffie or the witch, alright? It doesn't work. She's invincible. All you're supposed to do is defend the tablets at the end, use your defenders and healers, and defend those things, alright? After the time has elapsed, you pretty much win based off of how much HP you have. Like, you know, bring defenders and healers, do not try to kill Yuffie. I made that mistake. I felt like an idiot because I was like, why is this thing invincible? I can't take it down. That's because she's supposed to be invincible. This is supposed to be a tank stage, alright? Next thing is going to be Arena. And in Dream Arena, the thing that I want us to talk about the most is, you know, don't be afraid of failing here. It costs you nothing if you're defeated, right? You don't lose a ticket, you don't lose anything. All it is like you try, you fail, you try again. That's it. If I fail, cool. If I win, cool. I have no idea how I won there because my rating was way lower. And sometimes that happens, alright? Sometimes that just happens. So, you know, if you want to jump in here, feel free to fast challenge away. You know, look at their lineup, try to counter their lineup. If you see healers like Polly, use something like Fenebeth, this, that, and the third. Just all you really have to do is counter their lineup and then you'll be fine. Let's go over leader. Now, there are a couple of leaders in the game and then you'll knock them in the collab section. I would say the thing, I'm not talking about leveling them up. I'm talking about your actual leader skills. Don't forget that your leader can actually deal damage. I've had a lot of moments where my splitting thrust is like the key component to winning a fight instead of just trying to, you know, sometimes Demon's Bane is like my key to winning the fight. It's never usually Red Blast for the most part, but this one really helps out a lot for, like, you know, saving my ass. So I would say, like, if you are in a clutch moment, don't forget to use your leader abilities because they're just as strong as your main hero. And the next thing I wanted to cover was, don't forget about Wings of Growth. She's on the same wavelength as like Maki and Kasumi. So, you know, that speaks volumes on how great of a character she can be in the future, right? In the future. Just note that you do have to build a team around her. And then lastly, let's talk about the lineup. You know, I said this already. I have way too many SSR units for my team specifically because I cannot handle, like, this team doesn't synergize well together. I pretty much have a hodgepodge of like really good tier list like units, and I think I need to like take it down a notch and put in more like R and SR units just so I am able to actually summon things and get things on the field and actually start attacking the enemy leader. Because what ends up happening is I'll summon Yuffie and then I'm just waiting so I can summon something like Kiraya or Miyaka. Instead, you know, when I had added like Mary and Chio in there, I could instantly summon things faster and faster, and I would always have something so that my cards are pretty much flowing and I'm not waiting on anything, right? So it's really important to implement low energy cost heroes and try to fit them on your team. Don't slam low cost heroes just for the sake of slamming low cost heroes. Like, for example, Chio synergizes with Yuffie, Mary synergizes with everyone. Maki and Pan, they sort of do the same job, but for the most part, like, Pan is really excellent for damage. I still need to work on my Maki, but I'm just saying, like, there are so many things when it comes to team building. If you're wondering if you ever have a hard time, one of the best counter banners in the game right now is technically this one right here, Confused Heart. Fenebeth counters healer units because of her ability Curse. Curse is pretty much all heals received are converted into damage. So if your like enemy leader is cursed for 2 rounds and they heal the leader, they're pretty much going to take a buttload of damage. And Ashwaya is a good counter to stuff like Yuffie because when a Wandering Nightmare dies, 100% attack damage dealt to the enemy sorcerers. So it's really good. She's like a sword killer. I think that's really funny how her minions are pretty much supposed to die and she deals damage, and we already know how many minions she can summon. But anyways, my biggest thing is make sure to read up on what the characters do. I wouldn't, like, some characters are good with certain comps, alright? I made the mistake of just using SSR characters. I never looked at Mary and Chio, and as soon as I added them, my gameplay experience like exponentially increased. So don't be like me and just focus on the tier list. Anyways, that's it for today's video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitch, follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you in the next one.